Goodbye Grains. Today we are going to make some mini corn dogs. Now, these are not made with regular hot dogs. We're actually going to be making these with sausages. And then you can cut the sausages into smaller pieces and kind of make them into mini corn dogs. So they're certainly not going to be something that you're used to, you know, buying in the frozen section of the grocery store. But these are definitely going to be a lot better for you than that. And they're kind of something a little fun. I think kids are really going to like these. So for our ingredients, these are some chicken sausages. Now, whatever type of sausages that you want to get, just make sure they don't have added sugar in them, and also make sure that there's not a bunch of, you know, preservatives and other random junk. Chances are you're not going to be able to find sausages that are made like with pastured meat or pastured chicken. If you can, that's great. But these are just regular chicken sausages with a bunch of seasonings and stuff in them. Now, for the batter, our main kind of, I guess, flour type thing is going to be coconut flour, and then we have some coconut oil. We're going to use a little bit of coconut milk, and then to kind of bind it all together, we're going to use some eggs. And then for the seasonings for it, we're going to be using a little bit of crushed black pepper, a little bit of granulated garlic, and some kosher salt. So those ingredients are kind of going to be our batter. We're also going to use some coconut oil to actually cook the, the little mini corn dogs in. So first thing we need to do is slice up the sausage. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is take our sausages and cut them into smaller chunks. So what I usually do is just cut them in half. As you can see, these are the red bell pepper and spinach ones. And then usually I will just cut them into chunks. So I usually cut them a little bit on an angle so that they're kind of slightly larger than bite size, maybe like 2 bite. A lot of people will probably just pop the whole thing right into their mouth, but I'll slice these like this. And then once all the sausages are sliced, we are going to make our batter and get our coconut oil starting to heat on the stove. So we're going to move the sausages off to the side and we're going to make our batter. So I have my coconut oil, just 2 tablespoons of it, that is melted in the bottom of this mixing cup. We're going to add our coconut milk and our eggs. We can add our salt. Also going to add a couple rounds of the cracked black pepper. And then we can stir this all together. And now we can add our coconut flour, and I forgot a measuring cup. 1 second. Okay, so we're going to add some of our coconut flour. And then just whisk this all together. Now, as the coconut flour starts to soak up some of the liquid, this batter will get a lot thicker. So we just want to make sure we mix it all together. And then we can just let it sit for a few minutes. So what we're going to do is clean up these ingredients and make sure that our oil is up to temperature, and then we're ready to cook our mini corn dogs. Okay, so we let our batter sit for about a minute or 2, and as you can see, it got a lot thicker. So you almost have it kind of a little bit looser than like a muffin batter or something like that, but still pretty thick. And our oil has been heating over medium-low heat, and what we're going to do is just take one of our pieces of sausage and just kind of dunk it in the batter. And then you want to carefully place it into the oil. So what I usually do is just take one of these spiders and put it in the spider, and then kind of on the edge, and carefully add it into the oil, because you want to make sure that it's not going to spray up at your fingers. So you can kind of keep doing that with the rest of your sausage. You don't want to crowd the pan though. You only probably want to cook depending on the size of your pan, only about 3 at a time. And you want to make sure that you don't drop these right into the oil. You want to kind of carefully place them into the oil because you definitely don't want to splash oil on yourself, especially hot coconut oil. And this is definitely not something you want to be doing with kids. The kids can help you make the batter, but you don't want them to be anywhere near the oil. So as these are cooking, you probably want to let it cook for about a minute on the first side, and then kind of just start kind of keeping an eye on it, and then you're going to flip it over and have it cook on the other side. I don't have this being like a deep fryer type of thing where it cooks all at the same time, just because I don't have one and I don't want to fill up the oil in the pan so high that you risk having oil splash out at you. So what you can do is kind of just use your spider. As you can see, the first side is already nice and crispy. And you can kind of just lightly place it back on the other side so that it can start to cook. And you can flip some of the other guys over. And then as these are cooking, you can grab a paper towel lined plate that you can take these out onto. Now my sausages, because the other side of the casing is pretty slick, the batter doesn't stick to this as well, so that you can definitely take a knife and kind of slightly, almost like create little lines, not cutting all the way through, but just kind of creating tiny little grooves that will help the batter stick on better, because you can definitely see the batter sticks a lot better to the exposed part of the sausage than the very slick side. So you can kind of, while these are cooking, you can just prep your next 3. And then once these are done, you can just use your spider to kind of pull these guys out and let them start draining on the bottom of a plate. You may need to wait another minute or so to let your heat fully come back up for the oil. But you just kind of keep an eye on your what your burner is. So I don't know if you can see on mine. Mine is on kind of medium low. So I'm going to finish this with the rest of my remaining batches, and then they are ready to serve. So these are the perfect finger food for Super Bowl, even for a weeknight. I think your kids will absolutely love these things. If you make some of your homemade ketchup or barbecue sauce or even just a little bit of mustard, those would be great to kind of put out as like dipping sauces for these. You don't need to do anything crazy, but you know, in case people just don't want to eat the mini corn dogs by themselves. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.